And but anyway, we're going to record this, and then I'll send it out as a link, a YouTube link for anybody who wants to watch it later. It's, one of the things was to collect any waivers that were missing, any deposits, and then I wanted to go over the itinerary in detail, see if anybody had any questions, and then I know we had a equipment meeting, but I wanted to maybe just kind of review a few things on the equipment side, in case anybody had any questions. So why don't we start with a word of prayer? Heavenly Father, we just praise you for who you are. We thank you for this day that you've given us, day to worship you. Like every day, we worship you in everything we do. And Father, thank you for our team going to Everest Base Camp to raise money to serve the people of Malawi with clean water and living water. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to do that and serve you in that way. Enjoy your creation and serve you at the same time. What a blessing, Lord. And pray that you'll go before us and touch the hearts of people to donate to each of our fundraising goals, and just be with us in this meeting. And if any questions come up, Lord, that people would feel comfortable asking those questions. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Garrett, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
So before we get started, have you given me a waiver yet?
I believe so.
You did? Okay, I'll have to see if I can find it, and let me look for it before we break up. Okay.
Okay.
So I wanted to go over. So Bill is one of our assistants. He's runs the website for us, Clean Water Climb. Alec and Patty are also assistants, especially with getting everybody's phone numbers and emails and making sure the waivers are in and all that kind of stuff. So, and you might have met Terry and Keith at our equipment meeting. I don't remember. So anyway, Garrett. So great. And you drove over from what, Nacogdoches?
I've been in spring all week.
Oh, you have? Oh, good.
Normally negative.
Okay, so that made it easy for you.
Yeah.
So let me give out the itinerary, and then I want to go over it in kind of detail, and then we'll just kind of touch on some of the equipment stuff again, just in case there's any questions. Just to kind of follow along. Okay, so we have 13 people going, so our cost, as you can see from this flyer underneath the photo, is going to be $25.50. And I think everybody here has already got their airplane tickets. So no, you don't have yours yet? I thought we went over all that, and he had already done it for you.
If he did, I haven't seen or noticed the email.
Okay, well,
Mike, I have the same comment.
Pardon me? Okay, what, Paul?
I had the same comment. I don't think I have a final confirmation that all the airline ticket was there. So
okay, so let me get my pen. I'm going to make a note for both of you to follow up before the meeting's over or at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, just so you know, you will get a confirmation email for it,
Right.
but it has not hit my credit card yet.
That was the second item.
I'm quite sure
So
I
you got
actually.
a confirmation without a credit card.
Yeah, he sent me a confirmation.
Oh,
that
yeah,
it was booked,
yeah.
But it has not hit my card.
Right, no, and that may be I'm sure that's the same case with you, because sometimes months go by before it hits our credit card.
Right.
I'll just let you know that.
Right.
And sometimes he literally, I don't know how he does it with the airlines. I don't know how they let him do that, but sometimes months go by, he'll book us, we got the reservation, and then he looks for maybe a dip in price, and he sees, okay, this is really good, I'm gonna get it right now. So I'm pretty sure you guys are booked.
I need to have it re-emailed to me at the very least, because
Okay.
it's very possible to hit my spam email.
Oh, that could be, yeah.
So,
Okay, so glad you brought that up, and same for Paul.
yeah, Meredith.
Meredith. Okay, so do you don't have any confirmation or anything at all that says you're booked, but maybe it hasn't hit your credit card?
Well, it hadn't hit the credit card. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, let me write everybody's name down, and I will talk to him this afternoon. And if I have something already in my emails, because I keep all those, I will just forward it to you.
awesome.
Yeah.
Because you don't vouch for my spam.
Oh, good. Oh, thank you. That's very kind. So, okay, so let's let's go over the itinerary. I would bring an extra, maybe $500, just for like buying Wi-Fi in the tea houses, for buying a shower, for maybe some souvenirs.
Yeah, when you're saying 500, you're saying that in cash, right?
Yeah, I would bring it in cash. Yeah.
Small denomination.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you might bring one. Yeah, I would, 20s and less. Yeah. 5s through 20s, maybe some ones. And then maybe part of that will be a tip, maybe $50 or something like that. We'll throw in for tip. I have to finalize all that. But the main thing that goes to the guide is the 25.50. And then anything else like our visa. Last year, in a previous year, he arranged all of our visa, and we did everything ahead of time, and he had the visas all ready for us. And then after COVID hit, it's like you had to go through this elaborate thing on the websites, the Nepal website. So I don't know what it's going to be like this year. So there will be like a $50 or so for a visa. We may have to get it ahead of time. Once I know that, I'll send you any kind of links that would allow you to get your visa ahead of time. So
do we need to tip our Sherpas?
we'll give a tip at the end to our guides, and they'll divvy it up between themselves and the porters.
Is that extra beyond the 500? Or is it
I would include that 500 should be enough for that. Now, it all depends on what you want to buy in terms of souvenirs, of course, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I bring a credit card. I've never had a problem on any of my trips in Peru or Tanzania or Nepal using a credit card. And that's one of the things you want to do. And I should have mentioned that earlier, but always call your credit card companies, let them know you're traveling, because all of a sudden they see you in Nepal and they go, I wonder if somebody's compromised your credit card, right? Chase used to want to know exactly what day I was going to be in what country. Here I am flying from here to Doha to Kilimanjaro or whatever. And you had to give them all that. Now they don't care. It seems like they've gotten to the point, maybe they know, maybe they just know my profile, that I'm always traveling to these different countries, and they don't care. So it might be now, it's just like, this is the start of my trip and this is the end of my trip. I think that's the only thing they ask for now. Chase, if you have Chase, other credit card companies might be different, but we'll be flying out of Houston on October 30th, and we'll be on Turkish Airlines. We'll arrive and then depart Istanbul. 31st we'll arrive. We depart on the 1st, and we get into Kathmandu, and Shepherd Trekking will meet us. It might be the guide company owner himself, Bishwa, and his wife Ramila. They may actually meet us at the airport, or one of his people will meet us at the airport. So, we're going to have some jet lag. It's 10-hour time difference. It's worse than going to Africa. So that we'll have like a day of rest, getting over jet lag, final packing for the hike itself. And then the first day of actual hiking, we'll be flying into Lukla. And Lukla is an interesting airport because it's kind of sitting on the edge of a cliff. And so you're just flying along, and all of a sudden there's the runway, and it just drops off like this. So, it's considered one of the more dangerous airports in the world, but you never really hear anything happening. So it didn't seem nerve-wracking at all to me when I did it. Now, last year, so in 2019, we went according to about this schedule, very late October, early November, and we had no problem. Weather was great. And then 2021, last year, I went a month early, and the monsoons went much longer than normal compared to previous years, normal years. And so the weather was not good, and we couldn't fly. And so I had to take a helicopter, and that ended up costing an extra $500. So I was going to say, we probably ought to have a little extra money, or at least the credit card available in case that happens. It shouldn't happen, because this is getting back to the more normal scheduled, and it should be way beyond monsoon. And so, but there is always that chance that we might have to helicopter into Lukla. Otherwise, we get completely off schedule if we wait. And when I went in 2021 last year, there were people that were just waiting in the airport, and all of a sudden they would just leave, and then they would come back the next day and see if the weather cleared the next day. I didn't want to do that. I had, reservations with Turkish or wherever it was I was flying last year. And so I would say, at least have a credit card with you in case that happens. I don't expect it to happen. It's unlikely, but there is a risk that we have to take a helicopter, and it costs more. Now, we'll get refunded for the plane ticket, but then it's the helicopter's more than the chop. I mean, the chopper's more than the air flight ticket. Okay, so we fly into Lukla, and then we trek about 3 or 4 hours. We go down about almost 500 feet, mostly. So you start at 9186 and you go down to 8700. It's a little hard on knees. If you have problems with knees, you may want to think about your trekking poles and making them kind of like canes, and you can take a little pressure off your knees and use your shoulders and your arms to help offset the pressure on your knees. Now, Peru was crazy. Machu Picchu was over 10,000 stair steps. Incas made 500 years ago. It was nuts. And it wasn't so bad going up, but going down was bad. So, and I do have a little trouble with my right knee, so it was irritated. And I went to see my orthopedic, and he gave me a cortisone shot Thursday. Feels fine now. But he also gave me this little thing. This is called a Patella Vader, if you can see it on the screen there. And you basically, take your boot and your shoe off and your sock off, and you slip it up, and you put it on this bone right here, and you tighten it up. So you don't put it here where it's soft. You put it here where it's a hard bone. And if you start having, problems with irritation and you're worried about it, you put this on for the rest of the day's hike. So I wanted to mention that because that's something new.
Do you now have 2 of those?
No, I never had any trouble with my left.
I just know if you're preventatively bringing, just in case for both of them.
No, I don't. I've never had trouble with my left knee at all. It's always been my right. So let's just hope it stays that way. So anyway, there's quite a bit of down. And then the next day we go to Namche. So it's like half a day hiking, not even a half a day, the first day. And then the next day is a little more, 5 to 6 hours. And we go to Namche Bazaar. It's absolutely spectacular. So these are all we're staying in tea houses the whole way. I think everybody knows that. I'm literally not going to bring a sleeping bag this year. And we'll talk about that a little bit, but in 2019, we were told, make sure you bring a sleeping bag. And so I used my sleeping bag on top of the bed, and I didn't use the big blanket that they had. Last year when I went, I decided, well, I'm going to get in my sleeping bag and, like last year, and pull the blanket over you. Well, that was too hot. So I decided, maybe I don't even need a sleeping bag. So I laid the sleeping bag on the bed, laid on top of it, and used the blanket and the pillow provided. And I did it the whole way that way. I never used my sleeping bag. So I contacted the guide company. I said, Bishwa, I didn't have to use my sleeping bag at all. Is it really necessary to bring sleeping bags? See, not really, because these blankets are like this thick. Plus you wear long underwear, plus that thick of a blanket, you're fine. Now, if you're worried about it at all, bring a lightweight sleeping bag. That's all I'm going to say about that. But anyway, we're staying in these tea houses along the way. And the first couple days is going to be mostly these pavers that have been taken out of the side of the mountain, kind of like Machu Picchu. And but it's not going to be 10,000 stair steps. That was brutal. Last 2 weeks ago when I was there at Machu Picchu. But Namche's Bazaar is spectacular. You'll go out at in the evening when it's dark, and even the stars and the moon will light up the snow-capped peaks, and it's absolutely spectacular. You don't want to miss that, and you can get incredible pictures right there in that village. The next day we go to Everest View Hotel. So the first year we did it, it was an acclimatization day. We hiked up to Everest View Hotel and back down to Namche Bazaar. Last year when I went, I thought, I'd like to stay at this hotel, and it's really, really nice. This is going to be a nice break early in the hike for you. And so if the weather's good, which it should be, we'll get our first view of Everest from the patio there where we eat lunch. Okay. So you're up to 12,664 feet at the hotel, stay overnight there. Then the next day we go to Tengbuche. Now it looks like we don't gain any elevation except for 300 feet, but you literally go down 2,000 feet and then up 2,000 feet. And so you end up about the same elevation. Yeah. So yeah, it looks deceiving. It's like, oh, that looks easy. It's just, flat, all the way. No, it's not. And then the next day is Dingboche. And that's now starting to go up more consistently and not so much down. And then the day 6 is an acclimatization day. You're going to go up from Dingboche to some higher elevations like 15.5 and then back down. And so you'll stay at that tea house for 2 nights. And then the next day we go to Loboche, gets you up to 16.2. And then the final day, as far as the final, highest point we'll be sleeping is called Gorik Shep. And there's only 2 tea houses in Gorik Shep, as compared to the lower down you are on the mountain or on the trek, the more tea houses there are to choose from. Now, of course, they have it all set up. They have all of our reservations set up. And that's the other thing, what I should say is when we're in the tea houses, that's where we get our meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you literally order off a menu. And the only thing I'm going to say is don't order yak. I've heard that people can sometimes get sick on yak, so might want to stay away from yak and maybe have more chicken or something. I don't know, but they have a lot of good recipes there, a lot of good spices, not necessarily super hot or anything like that, but just very flavorful food. So we get to.
If you're okay with questions.
Yeah. Ask questions anytime.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I'm doing a 6-hour hike.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are we doing
Lunch?
in the middle of a 6 hour?
Well,
hike?
we'll be stopping at another little village, a different village, and we'll have lunch there, and it'll be fantastic views of the mountains. And then after everybody's done, you just take off for the final, the end of the day. Yeah, good question. So we get to Gorik Shep. We have lunch there, and then for those who are feeling up to it and are good, so this is kind of an option, we can do an afternoon trek to Kalapatar. Kalapatar is 18.1, so it's almost as high as the crater rim of Kilimanjaro, which is more like 18.8, so it's maybe 600 or 700 feet less than the rim of Kilimanjaro, not the summit of Kilimanjaro is 19.3. But the idea is you get an incredible view of Everest at sunset from this. And
After a 7-hour hike, right?
yes, yeah, right.
How long does that?
Well, how long is what? Well, I don't know, because the two years I've gone, we had either had too many people that weren't feeling well the first year, and last year we had too much monsoon. And so the guide says it's not worth going up there. You're not going to see anything. Okay. So I don't know. I don't think it's that long. I think it's maybe 2 or 3 hours, something like that. I mean, you're already at 16.6. You're going to go up 1,500 feet. So, but for that part of the hike will be one of the only times you really need to have your headlamp, because so again, it's an option if you're not feeling well, but if the weather's good and you think you got enough energy, I'd highly recommend it, because I have seen some pictures on the internet and other people have taken from their trips that it's quite spectacular to see that glow. And I've taken some pictures of the sunset on some of the other 25,000 foot peaks that are along the trek from some of these villages, and it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable how beautiful it is. So anyway, and if you're not feeling up to it, you just rest the rest of the day, and then in the morning after breakfast we go to Everest Base Camp, 3 to 4 hours round trip. So and that gets us up to our main goal of the trip at 17.5. And then that afternoon, so we'll probably have lunch, and then we'll take a helicopter all the way to Lukla. So instead of having to walk all the way down what we came up, we're literally going to get a bird's eye view of what we've just hiked over the last 6 or 7 days. It's quite spectacular. I've done it twice now. And there'll be views of Everest there. It won't be sunset views like from Kalapatar, but it'll still be good views of Everest. We'll stay overnight in Lukla, and then we fly back to Kathmandu and have a farewell dinner, a rest day and a farewell dinner on the 12th and the 13th. So, and then we fly back on the 14th. Does anybody have any questions about the itinerary?
Talking to Jason.
Yeah.
And we were talking about weight, right?
Yeah.
And the bag.
Yeah.
He said that he puts his true backpack in the duffel bag and ships out in the airplane. And that's what goes to Kathmandu, and he brings his own little airplane bag.
Okay.
And then he said at Kathmandu Hotel, he left his airplane bag locked up for a week or week and a half.
Yeah.
And picks it back up afterwards. Are we coming?
Yeah, we'll be back at the same hotel.
Is that a viable way to
Oh, yeah.
dump 5 pounds or 10 pounds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one way of doing it. I'll be carrying my day pack with me on the plane, and then I'll be checking the duffel filled with stuff. That's just the way I do it. Okay. But I mean, you can do it the way he did it if you want. But yeah, so I'll probably maybe even have a small carry-on as well. So a day pack and carry-on and that duffel, that'll be all. I think that'll be all I bring.
And how big of a duffel do you want?
Well, you have to look at all your clothes, and then all the other things that you're going to either bring that I would consider more or less mandatory, and then also those things that are optional. So I was gonna next go through the equipment list again. That's going to be more specific just for this trip. That was going to be the second part of this, but I wanted to make sure everybody was okay with the itinerary. Paul or Meredith, do you have any questions about the itinerary?
No.
No. Okay.
How many steps a day do you take?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You don't have a.
I do, but I just don't
I'm
remember.
just curious because I
Yeah.
see this and 6 hours is.
Yeah, that's a lot. But you're not running or anything like that. You're going slow and you're taking lots of breaks, lots of rest stops along the way.
I think Michelle said on the Kili, the long day.
Yeah.
21,000.
Yeah, so we don't have 21,000 any day on this trip. Maybe 15 to 20,000. I think would be the most we'd have steps.
My question is about trip insurance. Do we need to do that separately by ourselves or?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
recommendations.
Yes, I do have some recommendations. That's a really good question. I think it's let me look here. I have this, what I can do is send this out to everybody. It's what I did. I had a Kili meeting yesterday called Last Minute Reminders, and it lists three different travel insurances if you want to get it. Okay.
And the reasons to get it.
Yeah, so the reasons to get it, why don't I just go over that? And I did it last year because I was a little nervous with COVID and everything. But everything turned out fine. So I wasted $200. But here's the things to think about. Okay, what if there's a death in the family before you leave on your trip, or someone's seriously ill and they might pass away, and you're concerned about being gone for 2 weeks? That would be one scenario. I don't know if Bishwa wants us. So last year when I went, I just brought all the money with me. I didn't send anything ahead of time, didn't wire anything. I don't know what he wants this year. If he's okay with that and we just bring the money, then you're not going to lose any of your 2550. Okay. I'm hoping he's going to be okay with that. So, if you have to cancel, you're not going to lose that. And I think the airline tickets we bought are considered non-refundable. I don't think they're refundable. Refundable tickets tend to be more, but non-refundable could also mean that you just have to cancel and check with the airline and see. I mean, you might want to check with Turkish Airlines and just ask them, what if I have to cancel? Do you get a credit? Do you get a credit for a year? During COVID, United was pretty good about. We had to cancel a wedding trip we went to, and they said we got a whole year. And then just recently got another email from them saying we're going to give you another year. So I think you have to kind of weigh that. And I don't know what Turkish's policy is. So the other thing would be, what if you got tested positive while you're either just before the trip and you have to cancel, or, well, that would be the main thing. It would be just before the trip, if you tested positive and then you have to quarantine, or if you test positive at the end of the trip, because for the US, you have to have a PCR test that's negative within 24 hours of departure. And what if you have it, but you don't have any symptoms? Let's say you don't have any symptoms, but you test positive, but you still have to quarantine for 5 days. And if with no symptoms, you have to quarantine for 5 days with no symptoms. If you have symptoms, you might have to quarantine for 10 days. Well, that would be something to consider. Can I afford to spend money in a hotel and for food for 10 days while I'm waiting for this quarantine period to be over? And that would be a reason to talk to one of these travel insurance companies. Say, so you have to kind of decide in your own mind, what are the things you want to be covered for? And then if you decide, yeah, I want to do this for these reasons, and then contact them and find out what their prices The third thing would be just if your trip is interrupted for any reason, like what if you got really sick or you got injured and you have to be life flighted out to back to Kathmandu. We've never had that on any of our trips ever happen. I mean, we've had people get a little ill now and then, and they get taken down by the guides on Kilimanjaro, and they stay in the hotel for a couple extra days before we get back. But we've never had anybody really seriously ill on any of our trips. So, and not that it couldn't ever happen, but those would be the three things I would think through and decide, okay, can I risk this? Can I risk this? Can I risk this? And then make your decision based on that. I mean, everybody's in a different situation. I mean, you may have an elderly parent or something that you're concerned about, or anybody here that's going on the trip. So I don't know, does that answer your question?
It does. I just wanted to know if we had some recommendations.
Yeah, I've got, well, the one that I went ahead and got it last year with Diver Alert Network. And I went ahead and paid, I think, $250, and that included being life flighted out and everything. I mean, that was like that was almost like the best thing you could possibly get. And I didn't think that price was particularly high for all of that they're offering. Now, they started off as for helping divers that get in trouble when they're diving, but now they do all kinds of insurance for everybody.
Do you provide us that information somewhere?
I will provide it for you. Yeah. So let me
I'm
add.
just concerned about, especially since there was an issue on your last trip.
Oh, so what did the Clearmans tell you? Well, so here they are. They successfully do the whole hike. They had a great time. They had no symptoms at all, and they test positive, I think, 3 times.
In Nepal?
No, in Peru,
In Peru.
coming back from this recent trip. And other people tested positive too,
Wow.
that were fine, no symptoms. So it's like, I mean, did they really have it? That's number one. And so anyway, I'm sure they told you how they managed to get out or not. I don't
It's
know.
not like you're in Mexico where they're like, oh, sure, you can stay for free however many days.
Yeah. No, and I think we're in the Himalayan hotel is where the guide company, Shepherd Trekking, is going to put us up, called the Himalayan. And if something happened and you had to stay for 10 days, they'd probably find a less expensive alternative. I mean, it's a really nice hotel. I'll just say that.
But you're still paying for it.
But you're gonna have to pay for 10 days,
$250 is
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that would more than cover maybe that would probably be less than what 2 days would be in this hotel. And so, yeah, Diver Alert. I'll send out an email with that. I've made a note to add that to. What I'm going to do is reply to my last email with a link to this video, so anybody can watch it that's not able to check in on the meeting. But any other questions about the itinerary? No. Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about the equipment then. I might have given this out last time. I don't remember. I might have made some adjustments to it. I've kind of made 2 columns. I made a column here that shows whether it's required or not, what I would consider required. I need to go. I gave you that, so you have to go now.
Oh, yeah. You getting some more vacation?
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, so Bill's going to take the
You ready for me?
the phone and he's going to put it here so you can watch me on screen as I go through the stuff. Okay. So let me start out with what I'm going to kind of have on me for sure all the time. And that would be, I like a fanny pack. So I can put my cell phone in here and I put my snacks and maybe chapstick or something like that, unless I have it hanging on my neck. So fanny pack is really handy. It's not a required thing, right? I would say though, a hat, a wide brimmed hat is required because the sun's going to be pretty intense, like it was in Peru and also Kilimanjaro. So wide brimmed hat is really good to prevent sun headaches. And then obviously you want some good boots that are well broken in. If you don't have them yet, I would get them, pretty soon. We've got a few months yet, but it's still a good idea to get them broken in well ahead of time so you don't get blisters. I wear the boots on the plane because if for some reason I have them in my duffel or my check bag and something happens and I have to go buy a pair of boots, I'm going to get blisters on that trip, right? But if I'm wearing them on the plane, there's just no way I'm gonna lose my boots, right? So it's one of those critical things. Same thing with the hat. I'll probably have the hat on the plane. I'll just put it in the old pit bin. I'm also gonna have my day pack, and I always carry the list of all my donors up to that point and how I'm doing on my goal. So I always have that on there. And then, whenever people donate, I always send them an email, of course, and thank them. And then I say, any prayer requests I can take to Everest Base Camp with me. And then the water bladder is critical. So they're going to be giving us water every day, water bottles, with, clean, fresh, safe drinking water. And so whenever you're out, you just tell them you need some more water, but I recommend 2 to 3 liters a day, probably 3 a day. And then, there'll be soups and stuff like that. So there'll be other sources of fluid that you'll be getting. So I usually go with 3 liters of water, and then whatever supplement I can get from just the food and the soups and stuff like that I eat. Okay, so those are some of the more or less required things, I would say, except for the fanny pack. And I don't have everything that's on that list in here. I just thought I'd show you examples of some things. So you're not going to be able to plug in your normal AC, plug. So you want some kind of an adapter. This one's kind of universal. There's 3 different things setting here in the United States, Australia, which actually it was in Peru. It was amazing. You could just plug into the wall in Peru. I was surprised. I didn't actually need this. But the nice thing about this is you can, you definitely need it for Nepal, but it also has USBs right here, as well as you can plug in your cord there. And that would be like an extension cord. So like if you have more than one thing you're trying to charge, if you have an extension cord and plug it in here, then you can plug your things into the extension cord. And I think it's going to be considered Europe. It's either going to be Europe, that one, or it's going to be UK, which is this one right here. I can't remember what it is in Nepal, but anyway, that's what, and these are really cheap. This is called a Zopin, but I mean, you can just go to Best Buy or you can go online and just say you need universal adapter. So I would say that's a required thing. If you have anything at all that you're charging up, okay. So I put my snacks in here, or my trail mix in here. You probably want to have some snacks. This is for some energy drink. And this is for the guys anyway. This is a pee bottle if you don't want to go outside of your room in the tea house to the common restroom, right? So just don't mix these bottles up. Obviously for socks, I wear these liner socks, and then I wear the Smart Wool. And these things come in different thicknesses. I'll probably have this is like the medium thickness. And I'll probably be using this most of the trip, except for the final, like Acclimatization at Everest Base Camp. I'll probably go with the super thick thickness. So, and I got this stuff over at REI. I like to use trekking gloves, protects your hands a little bit from the sun. A couple of years in a row, when I was going on Kili, I would get this weird rash on my hand, and I couldn't figure out what it was from. It wasn't like sunburn; it was just like in one spot. And then it would go away as soon as I was off the mountain. So I decided to get trekking gloves. I don't have a problem with that anymore. Again, that's an option. That would be an optional thing. I would say a gaiter like this, I would say is, I don't know if it's starred on there or not, but I would say it's required because it's, there's a lot of dust. You don't really see it though. You don't see the dust, but there's really, really fine glacial powder, for eons of time of grinding up these the granite and the metamorphic rocks that are there. And so you're breathing in this really fine dust. And also there's a lot of yaks and a lot of, I think donkeys or mules, if I remember correctly. And so they're pooping on the trail, and that eventually dries up and gets ground up, and that becomes part of the dust. So you're getting, a combination of a couple of nasty things. And so as much as you can, I hate wearing this stuff though, because it fogs up my glasses, right? It's like the old mask problem, but this helps filter out some of your dust particles. I would say, highly consider getting some kind of a neck gaiter like this that you can pull up along the way. Definitely want to have some kind of rain jacket for when it just gets cooler or windy. You know, I don't think we're gonna have any rain. We shouldn't have any rain. I mean, I've done it twice now, once when it was still monsoon, but didn't get any rain. And then, of course, the year that we did it in November was very, very clear. But it's good to keep it warm, right? Definitely want a puffy jacket. So I would say these are two required things. So this is down, this is Patagonia. And it basically, it goes inside of a pocket. So you can, make it very small for packing on the trip, or in your duffel or your check bag. And you can, get it down to a very small size. And so it doesn't take up much space. And then, just have it in your day pack during the day, especially later in the hike, not so much maybe the first day or two. I mean, I would have something just in case the wind came up or something. I mean, this or this, probably this the first couple of days. And we can talk about that as we get, on the trip and stuff, maybe the night before when we're still in the hotel. I always wear long underwear at night in the tea houses, even though they are houses, it can get pretty chilly in there. And so, and then between this and then this blanket, it's about this thick. Should be plenty warm. But again, if you're a little nervous about it, you might want to bring a sleeping bag. I'm gonna try it this year without a sleeping bag.
When you say chilly, how cold are we talking?
Frozen water bottle.
Yeah, I think, well, not in the tea house. It won't freeze your water in the tea house for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it'll be cold in there though. It'll be like, maybe in the low 40s.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, chilly enough that, yeah. So the other thing I have is like maybe for Gorp Shep, you might want to have 2 of these layers, or I've got something called hot chilies, which is kind of the same thing. But they're maybe just a little warmer than the Patagonia long underwear. So I picked up these, I don't know, a few years ago, and I may have to wear these, in Gorp Shep at night, or maybe with to go up to Acclimatization and you're coming down, it's going to be dark, right? You've seen the sunset, now you have an hour to hike down in the dark, and it's going to be much colder, right? Because you're going to be coming down from 18,000 feet. So you might want to consider that. I mean, the key thing is layers, and you may already have other types of layers that you want to use, but these are the 2 that I'm going to have to make sure I'm warm at night, and for that Acclimatization hike, that I'm going to be warm enough. I'll probably be hot going up, but then cold coming down. Obviously some kind of a hat, like, a knit hat like this. So there's Everest base camp. And then, some kind of a neck gaiter can also, and again, I think this kind of stuff for, wearing, this would be for like a Acclimatization hike, and you may not even have to wear it, but if you have it with you, in your backpack for that hike, and if it gets pretty cold coming down, you have a little extra protection. So there's that. This is another thing that's more just around your neck. I'm just showing you different options. Hey, how you doing? Hey, you want to go to Everest Base Camp? We're having an Everest Base Camp meeting.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Want to grab a snack?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to give you something.
Yeah, you want to grab me?
Yeah, so I'm going to give you another one of these for Carly.
Okay.
And then we have these village players.
Yeah, talk to Pierce.
Each of us are taking 2, so there should be 4 in there. I've got these little wristbands that say water climbers, 2 of those. And then 2 frisbees, 1 for each of you to take. And then we have, each of us are bringing 4 of the Bible stories in Chichewa.
You gave me those
I did?
yesterday.
Okay,
So you want to give me more? Or
I'm
want
gonna
to
give you
Yeah.
2 more for each of you. So
Okay.
each of us are bringing 4.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. One meeting after another, so that's crazy. Anyway, just, think about some extra warmth for your head and maybe for your neck for those final day or 2. So I'm also going to have, probably for the final day or 2, and certainly for Acclimatization, obviously have your regular pants, shirt, underwear, and stuff like that. I don't have any of that in here because I figured, everybody knows to have that. But these are a couple things that I've got. They're on the list under not required but optional. These are some heavy duty pants. Okay, This is outdoor research. The name is on the list there, but these things will protect you from the wind and also give you some extra warmth. My legs don't get that cold. Most of the hike, I'm going to be in shorts. I'll just tell you right now, I'm going to be in shorts. But for nights and maybe for that Kalapatar hike, and I think for Everest Base Camp too, I'm probably going to be wearing this.
Would ski pants be a viable option for that?
Are they really? Are they pretty thick or what? I'm not too familiar with ski pants, but I think that would be a good idea to bring.
Okay.
Yeah. And then same thing for the top, right? So this is also on the list. This is Arc'teryx. It should be on the list under recommended, but this is thick and it's got some pockets for your gloves. It's got a hood. I usually wear this at the end of the Kili trip, you know, as you get towards the summit, and also towards the end of the Everest Base Camp trip. So again, these are things to consider. Layers is the key thing, though. You know, you may not have to go with a thick layer like this. Maybe you can have 2 thinner layers that you can wear. Gives you more flexibility actually with thinner layers. Put more on, but you can take them off as you get too warm, and so on and so forth. We should be able to plug this adapter in the lower T houses to charge up anything you want to charge up, like your phone, for example. I'm going to have my cell phone, and I'm going to have a Garmin on me that I'll be charging up. So the first 2 or 3 nights, I remember that there was actually a plug in the room. But as you get up higher, you have to pay to have things charged up. So I always bring a fully charged battery pack with me, at least one. And so I'll keep it charged up in the lower levels when you can plug it in. And I mentioned having an extension cord, right? So, you know, you can plug this into this, which goes into their wall, and you have 3 options to charge things. So think about what you're going to bring and what you're going to need to charge. I mean, maybe you just have the phone. If some of you want to bring a fancy camera or something with you and you have batteries that need to be charged up, or just bring enough batteries, you don't have to worry about it. I mean, those would be some of the reasons to have this battery pack too. So if you keep this charged up and maybe even have a couple of them if you think you need them, then you won't have to pay to have your phone charged. It's not going to be expensive. It's going to be a few bucks, right? It's not going to be that much, but this way you can do it in your room. You don't have to give it to somebody and then come back later and get it from, you know, that evening.
So that's the way that when you buy power,
Yeah.
what you're doing is you're giving them your device,
Yes.
and it comes back, hopefully,
Yeah,
charged
up.
the next day.
Yeah, and they'll also charge up these things. So like if you run out of juice on this, they'll charge it up, but it might be $10 or something for something like this, because it takes a lot more. Depends on the size of the battery pack. And this is my headlamp. You can get these things really cheaply. And just make sure you have enough batteries, extra batteries. You might find it handy. The rooms have lights. The tea house rooms have lights. So you're not going to need like a special lamp for that. But this would be for Kalapatar, and maybe in the middle of the night you have to get up. You don't want to put the bright light on in the room. You can grab your headlamp. Okay.
Quick question.
Yes.
Because you mentioned the pee bottle earlier.
Yep.
So I know that, you know, like there's a shared restroom. Is it in the building?
Yes, it's in the
Okay,
building.
I don't have to go outside.
No, you don't have to go outside. And they will. I mentioned showers earlier about, you know, why you want to bring extra cash. So especially at the lower levels, you can take some hot showers, and you might have to go outside of the building, but then back in the building through another door, right? So it's not going to be like a separate building someplace else. The higher up you go, I mean, I think towards the last 2 places, the showers weren't hot. They just give you a bucket of cold water. It's like, I'm not doing that.
No,
I stink those
Jason
days.
Shepard will do it though.
no,
That guy's amazing.
no, cold showers are not fun.
Yeah.
No, I just said I stink those days.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
probably-
and what I don't have here, maybe some baby wipes or something like that. You know, that's another way of doing it. With, you don't want to do the shower thing, just wipe yourself down if you want to, you know. I'm going to bring one pair of more heavy gloves. You don't need mittens for this trip. You don't need mittens. Kilimanjaro is a good idea to have mittens, but I'm going to have some heavy gloves for that Kalapatar hike. Otherwise, I don't think you need the rest of the trip. Just that Kalapatar coming down at night. It's gonna be chilly. No, it's just after sunset, so it's not gonna be as cold as like it would be before dawn. You know. The other thing, if you are gonna go on take a shower, and actually I bought this on the 2019 Everest Base Camp trip because thinking, I didn't know enough, and it was all new to me. But this is a towel you can dry yourself off with, and you can actually buy them in the villages. So if you want to just wait till we get to a village and say, where can I get, ask the guy, where can I get a towel to take to dry off? And then you don't have to put it in your bag to get over there unless you want to get something ahead of time. But he took me right away to a shop.
So you bought that in?
I bought this, yeah.
Kathmandu, okay,
Well, no, it was actually on the hike.
okay.
It was like the first night of the hike. I really don't like to take showers. I didn't even know you could take showers, so I said, I need a towel to dry off. That's that. And then the other thing, again, that's optional, right? So another thing that's optional that Jason Shepard put me onto last year, he was gonna go, right? And everything got canceled for him, but these booties, these are really nice. They're warm and they're great in the tea houses, especially walking around at night or in the morning before breakfast. These are really nice and warm. They're great. And so I'll have these and I may have another pair of shoes, walking around in Kathmandu. I'm probably not going to be one to walk in that. I certainly wouldn't want to walk in that. So I may have another pair of shoes that will stay with my stuff, my check bag. So I'll probably have actually two bags. I'll probably have this that I'll give to the guides with all my clothing and this gear. And then I'll have a suitcase that I'll leave things in that I don't need for the hike, right? And that would be like that extra pair of shoes and maybe a few other things.
And that suitcase is staying in Kathmandu?
That will stay at the hotel, yeah. And they've been very good about it. I stayed at the same hotel 2 years or twice in a row. So the other thing that I'll be bringing that you don't need to worry about at all, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, is our banners. So this is going to be our team banner. So this honors our community partners, right? So these are our 2022 community partners that contributed to pay for our shirts. So I have shirts here for you, Garrett and Keith. Make sure I give them to you before we leave. But anyway, we're going to obviously want to take a picture with all of us at Everest Base Camp with this unfolded. And then also I've got for each of these, the dentist, the Doxa drilling people in Malawi, Lawn Ranger, C&G Financial Church Project. I have a separate banner, paper, smaller, that when we're in Kathmandu before the hike, they're all in here. We're going to lay them all out and we're all going to sign them. And you can say, thanks or whatever you want to say in your name. And then we'll try to take pictures of us holding all of these banners, or maybe 2 or 3 people will hold each banner. So, and then at the end, I'm putting together some kind of photo montage that shows a picture from the Peru trip, the Colorado trip in September, this trip in November, and then also Kilimanjaro in July. So there'll be like 4 pictures of their logo, and I'm going to put together some kind of montage and just present it to them as a thank you. So, and having all of our names on there is really going to be cool. I mean, there's already 28 names on here from the 28 people that went to Peru. I mean, it's amazing. There's going to be more people that have do a climb this year than ever before. And we have more sponsors than ever before. So any question about luggage and stuff like that, and gear, I should say.
You told us before what the weight limit was, but remind me.
Trying to remember. I want to say it was 30 or I want to say it was
30 pounds.
30 or 35, something like that.
And you said you took an extra bag and you just paid your porter extra.
Well,
I'm trying to keep mine at 30 and
I would try.
I'm around 25 right now.
Yeah, try to keep it at 30. No, I pay an extra porter for Kilimanjaro because I have a lot more stuff. I bring a lot more camera gear and stuff like that, and the banners and stuff like that. I'm hoping I'll be able to keep everything within 30 pounds myself instead of having an extra porter.
And that's not counting the day pack that we're carrying.
Right, not counting the
Which
day
is 10
pack.
pounds on ours.
Yes, exactly.
So do you wear your day pack and your fanny pack? Because I noticed your day
Yep.
pack looks a lot like mine.
Yeah, I wear both of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions? No questions, Paul?
I'm good.
Okay, Meredith's shaking her head no. Any more questions here?
Pillows? Will
They'll have a pillow. They'll have a pillow in the tea house. That was another thing. You don't need.
So everyone's got one pillow in there?
Yep. I think it's, depending on how many people are there, like, when we had a pretty big group in 2019 before COVID, they kind of expected double occupancy. But if there's not very many people, they may allow us to each have our own room. I just don't know how busy it's getting there. I mean, the fact that now you can go with a test or the vaccine, you don't have to have, if you have a vaccine, you don't have to get tested. It may be that more people are going now. So that's the other thing. If you're not vaccinated, or if you're just worried about it at all, Curative, right here on Research Forest, just a mile from here, you can get a free test, PCR, and turnaround is like, you go do an errand after you've been tested. By the time you get home, you've got an email. It's super fast. Yeah, no, it's great. But you want to go online, so curative.com, and put in wherever you live, see if they have a place near you. If you don't, I mean, you live in the Woodlands, you're further away, and of course, Paul and Meredith, you guys are up north. So you may want to try to find a Curative or something else, whatever's available in your guys' area. But it's super convenient here.
But as of right now, the limitations are either you are vaccinated, which you're good.
Yep.
Or you're tested negative.
Tested negative. 48 hours.
2 days.
Yeah.
Before we
Bring a
fly.
vaccine card.
Yeah, what'll happen is you'll start, it's so stressful, but going and coming, flying is always the worst part, because now all these new things. So for going to Peru, we were on United, but you couldn't upload anything until less than 48 hours. And so, you're trying to think, are they going to accept my card? Do I have to have a digital file? I mean, what is it exactly they're going to want? So I went ahead and got tested anyway, because I was kind of concerned that I wouldn't be able to figure out how to upload the vaccination information. Well, when it came time, all they wanted was a picture of the vaccine card, which can be forged. I just heard.
You didn't just say that.
I did. So I don't know. Maybe they have a way of checking it. Maybe they look at everything on there and they say, no, this is real. I don't know. It just seems to me that,
They're all different.
yeah, that's the thing. And
They're all different.
every airline's probably going to be different.
I mean, every place, I got, my first two, I got one place, the second one I got somewhere else, and if I get the third one.
Oh, yeah.
If I get my third, my second booster, it'll
Right.
probably be somewhere else.
Well, here's what I did. So I got both of my original Pfizers at the Methodist Hospital on the other side of the freeway. And then my primary care physician was offering the booster. So I thought, oh, well, that's closer. I'll just go get the booster. And then I figured out a way to get the information from my primary care physician into this app that the Methodist Hospital has. And they look at everything you put in there, a picture and the date and where you got the shot and the time and everything like that. And all of a sudden, poof, it was in there. So now my Methodist app has all three of my vaccinations in it. So that was one of the things I was wondering, is that what they're going to want to see? Is that what the airline wants? Is that, or do they just want a picture, or what?
And in the end, they just took a picture of your vaccine.
And then at the end of the day, it was just a picture was good enough. So, but again, that was United Airlines. Who knows what it's going to be like with these other.
I just came back from Canada last night.
Yep.
I tried the online app and it didn't work right for me. It's probably operator error, but I just had my vaccine booster card, and they took a
Right.
5-second glance at it. And
Right. Yeah, I think that would be critical if you're one that you don't want to mess around with the test because you've already been vaccinated, and you can't figure it out, just make sure you bring that card with you on the trip. That's critical.
You know, if you have to have the booster, because I just got the original 2 shots and I haven't done anything since then.
Good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I'll have you research that for us, Meredith.
What?
See how I just pawned that off on you?
That'll keep people from stop asking questions.
Or maybe if you want to look into it too, Patty, does Turkish Airlines require, or does Nepal require the booster as well as the 2 shots? And I'm gonna ask Bishwa that question myself. So we'll try to hit it from 3 different angles. Vaccination.
Are there other vaccinations that are required by Nepal? As in
No.
Yellow fever?
No.
Or any of
No, yellow fever is definitely not required by Nepal. But you might want to check with your primary care physician if he thinks typhoid would be a good idea. I don't know if typhoid's in Nepal or not, but I always get one every 2 or 3 years for Africa, because that's how long the vaccine lasts, is only 2 or 3 years. So I just got boosted with that with my typhoid. I've probably had 10 typhoid shots over the last.
And Mike, I assume there's a place to get a COVID test to get back into the US.
Yes, when I was there last year, the nurse doctor guy came right to my hotel room and tested me, and then sent the results to the hotel management, and then they notified me that it was negative. So,
What are the requirements?
and it was like $20. It was only about $20. So
What
just
are the requirements to get back into the US? The same, vaccinated or?
no,
vaccinated,
no,
or-
they will not accept the vaccine. As much as the US pushes vaccines, they haven't got to the point where they accept vaccines.
So US is.
Have a negative test.
You have to have a negative test. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
You think the resident-
And
they-
Mike, in Canada, it seems like every drugstore in Edmonton did the test too. I got mine Friday.
Yeah.
You know, came home Saturday. It was
Yeah.
like, okay, everybody did it.
Well, I know from last year, they literally came right to the hotel for us. It was super convenient. So,
You'll arrange that, correct?
he'll take care of it for us. Yeah. Yeah. Now, last year it was 48 hours before departure. The US changed it to 24 hours. I'm waiting for them to change it to like 1 hour. I'm hoping they're just going to get rid of it and just say, okay, if you've been vaccinated, just fine. Yeah, November's a long ways away. I mean, who knows what's going to happen?
Just fly everybody to Ellis Island.
Elvis Island, yeah. So any questions about that deer list or the itinerary left for anybody here? No?
Do we have to use a porter?
You got it.
No, you should. No,
I know they're available, but.
Here's
you don't
why.
wanna Pay for one.
no, well, it's included in the price. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You might as well take it. Plus that
I'm
could,
just getting more. info.
yeah, that, Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure I got all the info.
yeah, no, it's part of it. It's part of the 2550, and you're giving that person a job. When I went to Kilimanjaro myself in 2020, I was the only one, and it was October, and none of those guys had work since January. And so it was a blessing to be there and hire them to carry my stuff and cook my food and all that stuff. So, and I know there's some people that say, oh man, I gave a talk at a Rotary Club last Wednesday, and I was sitting at a table before I gave my talk, and I was telling about, I was trying to start giving them little hints about going on a trip. And so and we have porters that carry most of our stuff. Oh, no, I want to carry all my own stuff. And I go, this is why you don't want to carry your own stuff. Obviously it's hard, but also you're giving somebody a job. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So if Terry and I can't keep it under 30 pounds, we can like bring 2 bags and have 2 porters jobs.
You probably could. You probably could. It'd probably be just fine.
So it looks like to me, you're just like taking one outfit and you're gonna wear it every single day.
Well,
Or no, you might take
yeah,
some
I mean,
back.
I'll probably either wear these shorts or another pair I have for at least 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
at
I was
least.
thinking that I would wear
Yeah.
something 3 or 4 days.
I mean, it might be chilly in the morning, but once you start hiking, you're going to be glad you're wearing shorts. I'll just tell you right now. Yeah.
Socks and underwear, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I literally wore the same pants the whole time.
Yeah.
And just
I'm
dust
Killy?
off the- I'm just dusting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a shell.
I think socks are probably one of the things you want
Socks.
more of,
Yeah.
Well, I found the toe socks that someone recommended at the last meeting.
Oh, yeah. Who was that? Was that Gail?
I think it was.
Yeah. Toe socks. How do they feel? Have you
They
tried them?
felt Weird to me.
They look weird.
Toe socks were actually in style, I think, when I was probably in middle school or high school.
Yeah.
So
Oh, really?
they felt weird now. I'm that old.
I don't remember. that.
Okay, so what I have left to do is check on Paul, Meredith, Garrett, and Keith flights and travelers insurance options that I'll send you. And I'm gonna check with our guide company about on when they say vaccinated, do they mean just the 2 shots, or do they mean the 2 shots plus the booster? And Meredith, if you want to do your own research with Nepal, go to Nepal, US Embassy in Nepal website. You might.
Yeah, based off a quick Google search, I think it's just the original vaccine. but
The original 2 shots, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good to know.
And
But
Mike,
we'll-
also remember Meredith and I were taking a couple of days in Istanbul on the way back.
Right. Well, let me circle back with Brian and just see if
All
he
right.
got you set up or not. I mean, you've told him what days, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm good on my flight.
Okay. Oh, you got
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't need you to check. on
Okay.
flight.
Okay. So,
No, I was just letting him know.
Yeah.
There should be a confirmation. email.
yeah.
I'm good there.
Okay,
I still
good.
have it.
Now, so did you email me your waiver? Okay. I think I'm
Yes.
going to end the meeting unless you guys have any questions online. Thanks a lot for checking in. Do appreciate it.
Hi.
Okay. Bye-bye. Just, email me, text me if you ever have any questions. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So hit end meeting.